Okay, we're going to be learning about the fully functioning personality today. You should be following along in your packets. The very first page you'll notice is page 51, but I'd like you to flip forward to page 7 in your packets. It's actually page 55 if you were reading this in Hayakawa's Symbol, Status, and Personality book. This is a chapter out of that Symbol, Status, and Personality book, and the fully functioning personality paper is what's going to be the basis for paper 1. You then are going to have to do a very personal essay, which will be paper section 3, and you'll evaluate yourself according to Hayakawa's essay. All right, I have this PowerPoint. You're going to follow along. If you have any questions, please ask them along the way. The question that Hayakawa wants to ultimately ask us is, what does it take to be the genuinely sane individual? Lots of people will tell you why you're so messed up, why you have all of those problems that you just can't seem to get over. Now, whether that's your childhood or whether that's something, chemical or something that happened in the womb, psychologists are happy to say, here are the things that make you insane. Hayakawa is not interested in that. He's interested in understanding what makes someone fully functioning. And on page 7, he says that he is going to lump together Roger's term, the fully functioning person, with Maslow's term, the self-actualizing person, and call this combined abstraction the genuinely sane individual. And he has looked at a number of people throughout time, and he said, what made them work? What made them so genuinely functioning? He looked at people like Jesus and Socrates and people that we historically and presently admire as people who are getting the most out of their humanity. You're going to notice that on certain slides it's going to say A. The first couple are marked A1 because they represent the questions that you're going to be required to answer. However, soon they will just go to Section A, Section B, Section 3C of this lecture. So, A, the very first point is that the fully functioning person is not well adjusted. Most people think that sanity is adjusted, but Hayakawa says here the most impressive fact, as described by both Roger and Maslow, is that these sane people are not, in the ordinary sense of the term, well adjusted. The unreflective layman and many school teachers and administrators, even some psychiatrists, seem to believe that adjustment to a society in the sense of complete conformity with the goals, internal and external, of that society is the goal of mental health. So, again, you can be following along. I believe that's on page 55. What I've just read to you is right out of the essay. You can be highlighting that or underlining it. What he's saying here is that many people believe, oh, you're sane if you're well adjusted to your society. If you do what your society does, if you're like the typical high school basketball player and you do what the other kids do, you fit in, you have tons of friends, then you must be sane, right? Hayakawa says no, because of this. This view of adjustment would mean that in Rome you not only do as the Romans do, but you think and feel as the Romans do. So in a society, you kind of become exactly like this society. That breaks down when you apply it to societies that don't make sense. In a money-mad society, then, you too would be money-mad. In a Nazi society, you would be a good Nazi. So if you believed what many people believe, that to be sane means that you're well adjusted, you're a conformist, then upon your society, you could be really, really messed up. I've given you an example here of a normal, average American kid who looks at his hunger and he looks at all of his different options. He's hungry one day after school and he thinks about what he should eat. And the easiest option for him, told by our fast-paced American society, is the Junior Whopper meal deal. No question, a temptation for me as well. And he says, oh, that will be quick, that will be easy, that doesn't cost me a lot of money, that is what I'll do, because that's what my society tells me I should do. However, if he began to think about what his society said about his eating pattern, he would realize that eating that Whopper, those fries, that soda, probably isn't that great for his weight, for his heart, definitely not good for his environment, and ultimately, if he ate out all the time, he would be poor. Now, if he thought about this and really was genuinely sane, he wouldn't do what his society does. Instead, maybe he'd choose an apple. Not something our society tells us is a fast food option, but is it? Absolutely. The not sane, it is not sane or genuinely fully functional to eat like this with Pizza Hut and Domino's and KFC. It's not good, right? There's nothing good about us eating like this, but we do. Why do we? Because, well, it's our society. It's kind of what we've been expected to do. You could break this down even further by like personal things that you do. Why do you get so mad? Well, it's because my mom got so mad when I was a kid, and that's kind of my society. That's my little microcosm of the world. Well, my dad really whenever he got mad at me, he would just scream at me. So that's what I do because, well, that's what my dad did. And Hayakawa is saying here that a fully functioning person would not just be like the Romans or the Nazis or the whatever society he is in, but he would think and act for himself. A2 now, which is question, how does a sane person differ from the normal definition? Hayakawa responds like this. The fully functioning personality is not, in that sense, fully adjusted. His relation to the society around him may be described as follows. This is probably the most important quote of the whole section of A. The fully functioning personality is in and of the society of which he is a member, but he is not a prisoner of that society. The fully functioning personality is in and of the society of which he is a member, but he is not a prisoner of that society. So, while the fully functioning person has these options, he lives in this society, he drives by the Taco Bells and the KFCs every day, he chooses, after close evaluation, what is best for him. So, let me ask you the two questions, and let me see how you do. A1, what is the normal definition of well-adjusted? What do people normally think of when you hear the term well-adjusted?
You can fit into any society.
Good. You can fit into any society, Tom?
Socially acceptable.
Socially acceptable. Somebody else? A conformist. Very good. So that would be the normal definition of well-adjusted. A2, how does a sane person differ from this definition? Shannon.
He chooses not to be like society in the bad ways.
He chooses not to be like society in the negative ways that society has declared normalcy. Good. Anyone else? Tom.
He chooses what's best rather than what is said is right.
Very nice. Do you understand how this paper goes now? You answer A1, A2. Are we ready to go to section B? Any questions about section A? All right, B. Next, Hayakawa says, while they are a nonconformist, the fully functioning person is not an outright rebel. They're not just like rebellious and down with society and anarchy. Instead, they are this. This is the second aspect of their personality. Their behavior is marked by simplicity and naturalness, and by the lack of artificiality and straining for effort.